Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode with Level Up with Ahmed, the show where we dive into technical things, leadership, entrepreneurship strategies, and all of the kind of stuff. And I'm so excited today to have Linda with me. Linda is like an incredible person. She's an AWS Community Hero. She's a trailblazer entrepreneurship. We're gonna talk about this today to understand her journey and what she's passionate about from tech community, all of that kind of stuff. So, Linda, it's great to have you. And before we jump in, how are you doing today?
Hi, Ahmed. First of all, thank you so much for having me today. I was already watching your videos about the podcast, like your new series, Level Up with Ahmed. It's really, really nice. So, looking forward to talking to you. And I know it's quite early in New York still, because in Vienna it's now like 1 p.m. So I'm about like to have this last meeting and then going to meet one of my new partners or like potential partners to do projects together. So yeah, I'm good and I'm happy to be in your today's episode.
I'm grateful. It's just it's my first meeting, so this will turn my day, make it much better, and have a better impact. So we've been talking in multiple occasions, and we've been meeting, and I heard about your talks, and we met multiple times. So let's kick it off with your journey. What inspiring you into take an entrepreneurship in tech? I know recently you launched your own company and you're trying to go in that path. So tell me more about this.
Yeah, so like first of all, I think I already had this entrepreneurial mindset and sorry. So this mindset of being a leader, because thinking about like different occasions where you actually can be a leader and doing your own things is starting in school when you are volunteering to do the additional work of a project manager in a project, or if you are volunteering to organize your prom or some parties or whatever get together is there. So I was always doing a lot of voluntary things, and we also started the support association in the Dach region. So I don't know if you can see the logo. It's like the Förderverein of the AWS Community Dach, which was also kind of a leadership in a way, because I'm the chairwoman of the support association, which is really nice, where we connect like all of the different community members, like user group leaders, community builders, AWS heroes, and organize events like the Community Day Dach, which is happening in Munich, and doing like a little bit of advertisement here, if I may, because we are looking for speakers already, and probably we can link the CFP somewhere. But yeah, so community was like since the mid of my career something that was super important for me, because when I started out in tech, I was working as a Java developer in an enterprise company. So we had like a lot of things that were proprietary and what we built ourselves and had to maintain and manage ourselves. So the community that I knew was kind of my team, other departments doing like the same things. And then like all of a sudden, when I moved into this like cloud technology field, there was like a huge community, and there was like a huge potential and opportunity to share insights, because people like use the same technologies, use the same services, and not everything was like just bound to the company itself. And yeah, so that was kind of my journey from being a Java developer and working like on premises with, I don't know, a server request that took like 2 months in total. And we had like several weeks always to plan, I don't know, production deployments. And then moving into this cloud direction after like 5, 6 years, yeah, was really, really interesting for me, and a nice opportunity to getting to know people, actually.
Oh wow, this is a lot of things. I just I want to unpack all of these things through the episode and trying to figure out what are the most important part to talk about from from your perspective. But usually there are these spark moments when or like, the aha moment, as they say, when like you come into like, it shapes the direction of your career. Like everyone has it, like has the moment where like, you know what, I should go that way or I should go the other way. Like, can you tell me about like these moments in your career? Like what shaped things, like where these moments landed, like what shift have you had done through your journey?
So I think one of my like most special moments are all of the moments that I had in my speaking career, as a public speaker. Because, for example, for me, it was always a dream to go to New York for work, like travel and meet people like from my community and like do something that's valuable, like. Doing a talk and connecting to people. And it was like, especially for example, New York, and it was something that I had on my bucket list. And then submitting a talk and getting accepted there, because of the fact that I'm like within this whole global community. So it's of course easier for somebody who's already connected with people to get those opportunities to speak like also in different countries. And for me, like all of those situations, also like going to Berlin for my first talk that I have done at the AWS Summit in Berlin, which was like really in the beginning of my cloud journey. And this, yeah, like those moments, and also like having the confidence to talk about things that I just learned. Because although like I was in the industry already for many years and working as a Java developer, doing something in the cloud was completely new for me. And I ended up having like AWS bills up to like, I don't know, $1,500 of SageMaker costs, because I just like didn't know that much about like the different instances and things, and like how everything like that works. But I wanted to like jump into it because all of a sudden I had somebody to talk to and somebody to ask questions. I think this was really like the special moments that I had of gaining the confidence to actually go onto a stage at a small local meetup, and then go like next step to, I don't know, present in another country and then on another continent. And yeah, so I think it's everything about the events organization and also public speaking and
Oh wow,
meeting those people there.
that's very interesting. It reminded me was like my first talk ever, and like in the United States. Like I've been in the career for like decade and more, but like the first talk was for me. It was an AWS reInvent, and that was like my first public speaking in the tech industry 6 years ago. And like I've been doing like this for like small things and all of the kind of stuff, but like that was like a first moment that I was like, you know what? It's either gonna work out or I'm not gonna speak again. And actually, like I liked it, and these were like one of the moments that like ignited me about like I should do more public speaking. I should like do all of that kind of stuff. But that's very cool that like one of your goals were like to go like different continents, just like move around. And with things like that, like you have a long career and long journey in the tech industry. I'm sure that you have seen like some challenges like that, like faced you out, where like how like between travel, between work, between different things, between like life in general.
Yeah, but challenges in tech. So it's also already, I'm in tech for more than a decade already, like working full time. I also studied business informatics, and I attended a technical school before I even started to work in tech. So it was like I started programming when I was 12.
Oh
And
wow.
then like I don't know, it was like I was 14, I think, when I started like this technical high school. And there I think already the challenges started, because as like a small young girl, like deciding to go into a school where there are only boys. And there were like a lot of people asking me like, oh, are you sure you want to do that, like with like all of those boys? And are you sure that this is like your way to go, because I was also super interested in like graphic design and in I don't know, fashion. I'm still sewing, so here you can see like my sewing machine, and this is like things that I do as a hobby. But when I decided to go into tech like as a career, it was kind of hard for me, like as this young girl, trying to tell everyone, yeah, my dream is to be a software developer in a big company, and everybody's like, are you sure? and and there was like when kind of those yeah, like those challenges started, but I always overcame those things, because if you have a passion for something, and if you really want to do something, and people tell you like, I'm not sure if you fit in there, and I'm like, oh well, then I'm going to prove you wrong, and I'm going to show you that I definitely fit in here. And that was kind of also pushing myself to really finish all of the things that I wanted to do and that I started. And I ended up working as a software developer. And that was also kind of a challenge for me to then being like the first woman starting in this team. And we had like two or no, three or four women in the whole department, being like 50 to 60 people in total, which is like a really, really small percentage of women. But I always enjoyed it. It was like never that it was like a challenge being like in the field, but just because of the environment, because everybody is like, oh, how do you do that? This is so complicated. And I'm like, no, if you're really interested, then you enjoy learning about the binary system and whatever. So I also have like a tattoo of a binary seven. I don't know if it's mirrored or not, but it's 0111. So um, yeah. So, but I think looking at challenges, one thing that I really want to mention is probably that it's sometimes in this enterprise corporate environment, um, I found it kind of as a challenge to, I don't know. It's like super hard to explain. Let me think about it. So if you really want to get things done, and you're like in a huge company, and you have like a lot of politics going on, a lot of processes that you have to follow. So that was, I think, more of a challenge in the whole tech career that I have had so far. It's most of the time it's not about the technology itself, but it's about like the whole environment, like what you can really get done. And I think if I would have to like bring it down to one big challenge, is like this whole corporate processes that are not efficient enough and not like modern enough so that they fit the new ways of working and the new technologies. And I think that's like also the perfect bridge to explain why I'm actually self-employed now, because that's just something that I, like after 12 years, want to like put aside a little bit and say, okay, now I want to focus like on the technology and on building solutions, which is my passion next to doing like things in the community.
That's awesome. Like one of like the key moment for me here is just like the people. Like it's just like it's always like I had multiple conversations with different people around this specifically, and like technology is not hard. People are hard. So
Yeah.
it's just like how to navigate these areas, and like how not to let people define your path, because like they don't have what you have, they don't see what you see, they don't getting the same support that you're getting. So like it's like I love what you're saying, because like despite like everyone saying like, hey, are you sure you want to go here, I'm sure you have your support system, but like also like people coming from the outside not seeing what exactly like you are trying to do or what's your passion about, and you're just like looking at the whole picture outside, just like it doesn't look good, because like they are not invested on. But like this is great, and actually this is like a great segue for like our next segment, when we talk like you like as just like as a person, and like as an AWS community hero, and like all of the stuff that you have done, you have been like a leader. Like you have been a leader in the tech community. Like you're influencing other people. You know, an AWS Community Hero. You have your own startup. Like, what does leadership mean to you in that context? Like, how you define leadership from your perspective?
I love that question because I think leadership really depends on like what you want to achieve. So be it like, I don't know, in a big bank, or like a critical sector, like a company that's like in the kind of, how do you say, like critical, has critical infrastructure. Probably leadership would be something different as leadership within a community would be, because I think there are like so many different aspects of leadership. And I know like different perspectives, because in my former company I was leading a team of up to 10 cloud engineers, like in the end. So we build up a team of cross-functional DevOps engineers who had like different focus areas, going from different cloud vendors and cloud topics to platforms like OpenShift, but also like other cloud native options. And there was like one kind of thing to like being a leader in managing a team that has to have an economic output and result. So it's not just about fun, but it should also be about fun. So I think being a leader is kind of seeing like how to balance like the different goals that you have, and how to like push people that are involved, and like also how to get them motivated, if yeah, like from time to time, because that's why we're also like doing a lot of events, and not only doing the events and working together, but planning get-togethers, and like do a dinner before working at something, or going for a drink afterwards. And I think that should be like for either way. If you're a leader, you are connected to your community, and you should work with them, and also set up an environment where everyone can thrive and like grow, because that's also a thing about being a leader, to let others grow and let them know how they can support you, because it's not always just about supporting others, because people lead. Yeah, it's like people want to have a lead where they can also kind of support. That's it's hard to say in a different way, and I have to think about it, because I never thought about leadership in this kind of way, that you also want to support like other people, that they have the possibility to volunteer for something, or to get a new project, to work on a new technology, because there are some people who are fine with always doing the same thing. That's why we need also people who are like more like in different routines, and love like the repetitive things. But then there are others, they want to try new things. And leadership in both kind of ways is like supporting like people who want to be more like in their comfort zone for a time, for example, and others who want to step out and need your leadership to get new opportunities, for example.
I love that. And like it's always about context. It's always about like where you define this, like business leadership in like in a corporate environment, leadership from that perspective, as you said, critical infrastructure is different from leadership in community, it's different from leadership in life in general. And this is great. And like at the end, you were like saying like how leadership works, like what kind of support like you need. So like I'm sure you mentor a lot of people, and then like you talk with a lot of people how to like to get into the industry, or like get into different problems, or like how you go public speak, like all of the kind of stuff. I'm sure like you've been amazing, and like we talked about this multiple times. But like tell me, like how do you do that? Like how do you mentor others or help them find their voice in the community, or find their voice in the tech industry? Like what do you do? Like how to make them better?
Yeah, so as we already mentioned several times, it's always about setting goals and like defining the goals on where you want to be. Because is it more like, do you want to be a better leader in the community, like to lead your own user group, to organize more events, or are you like in the stage where you want to get more knowledge about something or get more hands-on experience? So I have like different mentees, so to say, that I support in different fields, because at I don't know. One topic would be the like speaking, a speaking career, like being a public speaker on, for example, how to prepare a talk submission. Because how do you write your abstract? Like, what would be a topic? So even before writing your abstract, it's like thinking about what could be a topic that I want to talk about. Because like for me, I have like half of my career is focused on premises and Java and doing like software development, and then half of the other part is focused on being a cloud consultant and doing like cloud projects together with AI solutions and demos that I build. So it's always like a thing. So where do I want to focus on, and what do I actually want to share? Because for me, it was an easy decision, because I'm not into like the Java software development like anymore that much. So my software development experience like stops at Java 8 roundabout, because then I moved into doing like more technical project management and working more like within the product development team, but as a product owner. So for me, it was clear that once I was back in building things, which was like building things in the cloud, this was then like more interesting for me. So I also want to share more on this, because as I also mentioned, it's hard to explain things like in a proprietary field where you don't know if somebody else would have the same problem. But this is something super valuable for a new speaker to think about. Okay, what could be like a relatable topic for my audience? And this can be something that you think about when preparing a talk, or like what are like trending topics at the moment, and such kind of things. So that's like the one thing that I'm doing, but also on how can I actually start building a project. Because I have like a lot of possibilities on how I can get like a little bit more like those AWS credits from like for our user group and for projects that we're building, because there are like a lot of forms out there that can be filled out for different perspectives, like to get a little bit more credits, or also getting support from sponsors, from AWS partners, for example. So that's like the other thing of then actually building something that you can share. Because everything that you build, like especially in the cloud, costs money. So a lot of things you can do locally on the laptop that you already have, but if you want to build something in the cloud and really want to deploy it like publicly, then you're like at one point you have to pay something and you have to get like credit. So that's also something that I really want to like support, that people like really start building things. And that's why I want to give them the possibility to get more credits, or like to get this actually funded. And what are other things? It would be I don't know, like how to prepare the talk then actually, what to think about, that you have to, I don't know, that you think about having a recording of your demo, if you probably end up not having internet at the location, or if somebody something just breaks, because everything always fails. And if it's a prototype, then probably you don't have it up running in this half an hour of your talk. And yeah, what I also love to support on is setting up efficient processes in teams, because we have a user group leader team in Austria, and we're organizing a lot of different events, and supporting a lot of different things. And I like now I'm supporting like more user groups to set up also their task boards in Notion. So usually I do everything in Notion, but now we also have a GitHub project that we're using. And yeah, so I think in a nutshell, so that's everything that I can think about now.
Wow, like this is like a lot. This is more than what I asked for. Like, and like all of these things like stand out as me. Like it's just like public speaking, like supporting project, like how there are things like in my career what I have seen on like and through different levels. Like as engineers, sometimes we like really deeply focus on like the technical piece out of it, and then like we come back and then figure out how to do the soft skills, or like other job functions might like be like shaped differently. But it's very important to understand like the public speaking, how to prep for stuff, how to present it, like how to assess the risk. Like you mentioned a few things that are like, hey, just like record your demo before you go into me. Some people like were like, I'll do it live. I have the confidence enough. But like it's not about the confidence. It might not work. Like there are like
Yeah.
many circumstances, just like things will happen differently. But this is awesome and great. And then like one of the things that you mentioned earlier was like when you started your career and like you started your team, you were like is the only woman on the team, and then like there was like a different ratio on like the team. So like that brings me back to like inclusion and like how we can create like impactful environment. So and inclusion is such like a big topic. Like it's just some things that like we've been talking about for years. It's just like how to make sure that like all the groups are represented in the industry or any place. It's not just like about our jobs. It's about life. So where what do you think like the role for entrepreneurship play in opening the doors for others? So where do you think like how can other people, you or others, like think about like how can I bring more people that like they don't have the opportunity or they don't know where to go? Like what do you think about that?
um it's like it's that is actually something that I'm like more and more focusing on, because thinking back at my career, I never had any problem of being like the only woman in a group. But I realized in the years, like in the past years, that this is actually a problem for a lot of people. So not only women, but also there are a lot of men that don't feel like that comfortable like being in a huge group. And thinking about our user group in Vienna and our meetups, we have like I don't know, like people like from 60 to 80 or sometimes like 100 people. So it's like a really big group. And most of the time the content is super super technical and super complex. And then we are speaking about, I don't know, like enterprise networking and managing like thousands of EC2 instances and things like that. And then you have like beginners also wanting to join this. And for me, this is also inclusivity, to having like a space for everyone, like for women to having like a safe space where they can do their first public talk, for example. Because I like a lot of women approach me that are not that comfortable like to speak like in a huge like for a huge audience, because this would already be comparable to stage on the community day, like such a big meetup. So that's why we started, for example, the women's user group in Vienna. And now we have two user groups in Vienna. But it shouldn't be like kind of a competition or whatever, but it should just add like this additional space on top for either for beginners who just want to see like a little bit more introduction talks. Because usually in Vienna we have like or at the mixed user group, we have like talks at like level 300, level 400, but usually not like the beginner level. And in the women's user group, we also want to do like short intro sessions about like, I don't know, level 100 or 200 talks, so that are like more digestible. Not because of the fact that we have women there, but because of the fact to having like a lower barrier for first time speakers, which for example are just starting out with cloud technologies, but have like me a lot of experience in other technological fields already. Like there are a lot of Java developers from back then, like from when I was working as a Java developer, like women that will prepare a talk on AWS now, because they also want to move a little bit more in the direction of cloud technologies, and they feel more comfortable to start with a beginner session and start with sharing like their first touch points. But this would probably not be the perfect space for the like regular and mixed user group. And that's how I see how you should like, yeah, like have a space for everyone. And I also saw that in Berlin when Sana started the AWS women's user group in Berlin, because they had the same topic, 10 years anniversary of the regular user group, as I call it now. And they had the problem that there were like not a lot of women showing up, and also not a lot of beginners, like those two things. And now there's the women's user group in Berlin for more than a year already, and they have also up to 100 women at an event, which is amazing. But the regular user group in Berlin had like, I don't know, 5 to 10 women for each event. So it really makes sense to have like a special space where you, for example, only have female speakers, so there are just women on the stage, and that's already something more relatable. And in Vienna, for example, we open the doors for everyone, so allies, like male allies and like men, are also welcome, and especially welcome because we want to have like also a mixed group. That's why we want to have everyone, but the rule is that we only have women as a speaker, because that's how we want to set up this space for more inclusivity, especially like thinking about, yeah, women and cloud beginners.
Yeah, that's super nice, and like it resonates with me. Like for most cases, like when I do meetup events, and like I like it's something that we overlook, but like you see the room, and then like, oh, we don't have enough. Like it's just like it does, the ratio doesn't seem right, or like you just like look back and say, oh, like why we have all of these speakers from that group and not the other. Like it's just kind of like it's a different things that like sometimes we oversee, and like we try not to correct. So I love the ways of like, hey, let's create a specific space, a specific group for like women to talk about like what do you want to talk about, like be more focused, like there's no like just no one is comparing between this and that, and this is great. And like, well, wait, we are at the end of like where we talking about like different things, entrepreneurship and like all of the kind of stuff, and you already gave like a lot of advice. But if someone is listening right now and considering launching something, launching a project, launching a startup or a meetup or even a blog, like what is that? Like, what's your biggest piece of advice for them? Like when they think about this, like give me your biggest piece. Just tell me like they should do that.
So, especially for people that are in the field of probably their goal is to build a project, like to build a demo, a prototype, or a proof of concept for something that they thought about, and then probably also having the goal of doing a public talk somewhere at a conference. So, if you're like kind of in this field, then my like my tip, or like what I'm always doing is I call it like kind of conference driven development, which is I push myself into the kind of the necessity that I have to build something if I have an idea. Because usually, if it's something that I put on my to do list and it's like moving more and more like down on the to do list, because it would be something nice that I would love to do, but I never find time for it. So I keep procrastinating and thinking about different things on how I could actually build it, but I never end up building it. So what I do is like this conference driven development, which means I submit a talk for some use case that I actually really want to build in, for example, a city where I really want to present something, or at an event where I want to present something, of course, like for this target group. And then once it gets accepted, you have your deadline set by someone else where you actually have to have to finish it, and where you're going to share it. So it's kind of having this time box of building something, because if you have, I don't know, 5 years of time of building something, then you will take those 5 years. But if you have, for example, 5 weeks to build a prototype that actually just shows that something is working, like from a technological perspective, and then you share your knowledge of those 5 weeks, is better than preparing for something 5 years because you never feel confident enough that you actually do it. And for me, I would never ever feel confident enough to, I don't know, just record a video of some demo and share this. Then I feel confident to like go onto a stage because somebody else already promoted it and did the marketing, that I will be there, that I'm like, okay, so now I really have to do that. And we like Philip and I, when we did our presentation the day before yesterday in Košice, there was the community day, like the first AWS Community Day Slovakia happening. And we were like, it was, everything was like super tight, like from a time perspective, because we didn't finish our demo and everything on time. And so we ended up doing the slides like in the morning of the event. But still, we finished everything and we made it, and we presented like yeah, a fully functional Slack bot that we wanted to build. And we had this idea already for 2 years, but now that this talk got accepted, we were like, okay, so let's build it. And we really would have thought it would be easier, and that's why we were starting the introduction with this. There was a meme that we saw that says like, we don't do this because it's easy, we do this because we thought it would be easy.
That's really like that's really a big thing. And like a couple of things that like you mentioned here is like, first, deadlines. It's just like it's important to just like put a goal and like have a target
Yeah,
for like where are you going. You just like, if you have a moving target, kind of like, hey, I'm keep moving with my target is moving, like, oh, next week or week after, all that kind of stuff. I really love the like the examples that you give about conferences, because I do something similar. Like, hey, I have an idea, but like I don't know, like let me submit it. If it get accepted, I'll just work to like get the data. I already have the knowledge. The other piece that like really resonated with me, it's iterations. It's like, people like nothing has to be perfect. Like
yeah,
that's why there's like versions. Like, here, my first talk when I ever did like public speaking years ago was like, sure, I was learning, was trying to understand. Now, like, I do more talks, like multiple in the same day. Now I'm recording broadcast with like a community here. Like, it's just like things happen all over and iterate, and like there's no judgment. It's just like I'm learning. Like, it's my
yeah.
journey through the process. So I love that. So as we are wrapping up, what is Linda excited about next? Like in the AWS, in your career, in the AWS ecosystem, in like in tech community, what's exciting you?
Well, what's exciting me the most at the moment is all of the projects that I'm kind of that I kind of already started, but I always have a hard time in finishing something. And as I mentioned, like this procrastination, it's for me, it's easier if I have an appointment where I have to be on a stage, and then I will deliver the presentation. But what excites me the most is at the moment to really starting to publishing my new podcast format. There are like two projects that I have, and you will always also be like one of my first guests, because I already recorded some of the episodes. So the first ones are already done, and hopefully that's like another thing on how to set more deadlines. So when you are going to publish this video, and I will share in this video that I'm going to do this podcast, because I already recorded everything and I have everything set up. And then I'm trying to use this stage to promote my two new formats, which is Meet the AWS Community. So where I will be interviewing AWS heroes, AWS community builders, and AWS user group leaders, and explain a little bit about their background, because I was talking to so many people now, and everyone has like kind of the same thing in their career, to have like a role model or somebody that you look up to, and that you really want to dive deeper into their backgrounds. So I'm interviewing a lot of people, like you just did, about how they came into tech, why they are doing specific things, what is their passion. And then I want to create kind of this directory of a lot of people in tech that can inspire you, inspire you if you want to start something new, build a project, or people you can reach out to get more advice on things. And the other thing that I'm also about to publish, because it's also already done, but I just need to click like the publish button, is the Women of Cloud, like the Women of Cloud community and Women of Cloud podcast that Sana and I just started. The first episode will be made with Nana from Tech World, with Nana Yanashia. And yeah, we're going to talk about learning and development. And we have a next episode together with Susanna, where she will share more about how to get started with the cloud, and how it was for her coming like from a different field to get started with cloud technologies. And we also talked to Mayor about starting a women's user group, because she started the women's user group in Munich. And yeah, those are the things that I'm super excited about. But yeah, there's more to come, and I'm also looking forward when we are going to record our session, where I can ask you a little bit about you being like a new fresh AWS hero, and what your plans are, and yeah, what's about a little bit about your experiences.
Love it. I'm honored to like come again and chat with you. Always like, we start this convos about different things, and I'm super excited about like what comes next. But like Linda, like it's been really an incredible conversation, and like you shared a lot of good things, and like about entrepreneurship, about leadership, about community building. And before we wrap up, like we're like, if someone want to follow you, like I know you mentioned many things, but where's he can follow you? Like where's he can connect with you? Is it LinkedIn? Is it different things? Like we can put links on the episode here, but feel free to just like share where people can follow you.
Yeah, sure. So, of course, you find me on LinkedIn with my name that's written here, Linda Mohamed. And also, I have a website, which is lindamohamed.com, without anything, just like the whole name together. And please reach out to me via mail, via LinkedIn, or wherever you can see me on social media. I'm also on Instagram. Probably we share my Instagram or TikTok. I will share all the important links with you, so that people can follow me. I also have the new YouTube channel, so we can share the Women of Cloud podcast, and the link to the Women of Cloud community, probably also to the meetup. So if anybody is in Vienna, I would be super happy if you submit a talk to our sessionize in Vienna. Also, shout out to all the women in Berlin. I can share the sessionize link for the women's user group in Berlin, and also for the community day. Okay, I'm doing a lot of different things.
Oh wow, that's a lot. Yeah, like definitely we can get these links up on the episode. And I'm super grateful for you, Linda, and to all of our listeners today. Like really thank you for tuning in, and like to another episode of Level Up with Ahmed. We're like, don't forget to subscribe and share, and like let's keep leveling up together.